Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay. Well, let's learn English together. Hello, people. Hello and welcome. Welcome to lesson 365. Yes, that's right. This is the 365th lesson that we've had together so far. And that means that this is 1 year's worth of lessons. Well, if it's a normal year. If we were thinking about leap years, you know, the ones when February goes bananas, the one that comes around every 4 years, then that means that next lesson, lesson 366, will mark the 1 year mark. But, well, let's celebrate now, shall we? Yes! So today is the 365th lesson. Isn't that fantastic? I know, it is, isn't it? Still, no time to dilly-dally. There's stuff to learn, stuff to study, and things to discover. So, what are we waiting for? We're not waiting for anything. This is it, people. We're here in the middle of things. We've already started. So, catch up. All right. Now, obviously, like me, you're all dying to find out what's going on with the bench fields. But we've still got some vocabulary to deal with first. So, let's get stuck into the vocab and then hopefully we'll have enough time to check out the Benchfield mystery or saga or whatever it is. Okay, all right, so vocab. Well, the first thing was something that we heard from Alfredo. He asked Dave Squid, the policeman, if he knew any reason why Tim wasn't congratulating Lizzie. Dave said that he did know a reason, and when he didn't immediately say anything, Alfredo told him to spit it out. So, what do you think that phrase means? Well, let's look at the first word, shall we? To spit is to eject saliva from your mouth. Saliva is the water you have in your mouth. And if you spit, then you eject this water, this saliva from your mouth. Now, think about it. What happens if you put something in your mouth that you don't like? Say, for example, that I put some cauliflower into my mouth by mistake. Perhaps someone covered the cauliflower in cheese just to trick me into eating it. They know that I hate cauliflower, but they decided to trick me and make me eat some cauliflower. Okay, I put the cauliflower into my mouth, but as soon as I recognize what it is, I'm not going to eat it, am I? No! I hate the taste of cauliflower, so I'm going to spit it out. Okay, maybe if I'm at a fancy party with the Queen, then I'll do it discreetly. I'll try and hide what I'm doing. Perhaps I'll use a napkin and spit the cauliflower into that. Perhaps I'll pretend that I have to sneeze, and I'll spit the cauliflower out when I pretend to sneeze. But as you can see, although the basic idea of the verb to spit is the idea of ejecting saliva from our mouths, we can also use the word when we're getting rid of something we don't want in our mouths. Like Richie here, when he wants to get rid of the caviar he's put into his mouth.
I knew the aristocracy were depraved, but I didn't think things had got this far. What's for dessert? Peacock's vomit?
Okay, but when Alfredo was talking to Dave, he wasn't talking about food, was he? No. In this case, he wanted to hear what Dave had to say. Alfredo was impatient. He wanted to know immediately. And Dave was taking his time. Dave wasn't in a rush to tell Alfredo. Dave wasn't in a hurry to say anything. And Alfredo, being impatient, was trying to encourage Dave to hurry up and say what he was going to say. Alfredo wanted Dave to spit the words out, to spit out the information, to tell Alfredo what he knew. And that's how we use this phrase. We use it to encourage people to talk, to say what it is that they're planning to say. If I'm impatient and you want to talk to me, but for some strange reason you feel shy and you don't speak immediately, then it's very likely that I will tell you to spit it out. I'm telling you that I'm here, listening. I'm all ears, and I want to hear what you've got to say. Say it! Get on with it! I haven't got all day! Tell me what you wanted to tell me. Now! Spit it out! Now, one of the words we saw, bulletproof. Okay, so for a start, what's a bullet? Well, a bullet is something made of metal that you load into a small firearm, a pistol or a rifle, not a cannon or a mortar, but something smaller. You fill the ammunition chamber with cartridges of explosive powder with a bullet at the top. When you fire the gun, the explosion forces the bullet, the metal top, to go shooting out of the barrel of the gun at a very high speed. Now, think about the other word, proof. And think about where you might have seen that word before. Think about your watch, perhaps. If you like to go swimming when you're wearing a watch, you brought a waterproof watch. Does that ring a bell? Yes. When we see the word proof added to another word, it tells us that this thing is able to resist something which is damaging. A waterproof watch is able to resist the damage caused by water. Water doesn't cause it any problems. Ducks are waterproof, so it's not a problem for them to spend all day in the water. You and I, we're not waterproof. So if we spend all day in the water at the thermal baths, then when we leave, our skin will look very silly, like this. So, our skin isn't waterproof, but things like plastic and silicone and, I don't know, divers' watches, they're all waterproof. They're all able to withstand water. Water can't damage them. Okay, so that's waterproof. What about bulletproof? Well, what do you think? This thing isn't damaged by bullets. It's bulletproof. Bullets can't damage it. So, when a police officer is wearing a bulletproof vest, that officer knows that if someone shoots them, they won't die. Well, unless they hit them in the head, obviously. Heads aren't bulletproof, remember that. So, we know about bulletproof clothing. Things like bulletproof vests and other items of clothing. Things which are normally made from Kevlar. But we also know that the President of the United States of America has a special car. The President's car is bulletproof. The windows aren't made of glass. They're not even made of that special tempered glass, that sort of glass which is very strong. These windows aren't even made of Gorilla Glass, which is really, really strong. No, these windows, the windows in the President's car, are made of a special type of plastic. They're not even glass windows. And because the windows are made of this special plastic, they can stop bullets. The windows are bulletproof. And the chassis of the car and the body of the car, they're bulletproof too. And the wheels, and the tires, and the aerial, the thing that helps us listen to the radio. Even that is bulletproof. And the door handles, they're bulletproof too. And the windscreen, and the rear windscreen, and the side mirrors, and the windscreen wipers, they're bulletproof too, obviously. All right, now, we'll come back to those parts of the car later, those odds and sods of vehicle vocabulary. For now, it's enough for us to know that the President's car is bulletproof, and probably bomb-proof, and flame-proof, and, well, rocket-proof? I'm not sure. Ask the man who drives the President's car. He'll probably know. Anyway, back to where we were. Things being connected to cloaks and daggers, and the fact that Lizzie was right, and Alfredo was wrong. Alfredo thought that Lizzie was letting her imagination run wild and away with her. He thought that she watched too many spy films and TV series, and so her brain was filled with ideas about spies and dead drops and secret messages written in lemon juice and secret nuclear bombs hidden inside rolls of toilet paper and that sort of thing. But as we discovered, as we found out, as we learned, as we heard, Alfredo was wrong and Lizzie was right. Alfredo thought that Tim was just trying to get out of helping with the shopping. But Lizzie thought there was something else going on behind the scenes. She thought there was something clandestine going on. She thought Tim's breakdance routine in the tins and cans was just a ruse, a trick. She thought that Tim was just acting. He wasn't actually having a fit. His brain wasn't exploding. Lizzie was convinced that Tim was acting. He was pretending that something was wrong with him. Okay, so as we all now know, she was right. There was nothing wrong with Tim, was there? And out of all the others, only one person didn't want to congratulate Lizzie. And who was that? Yes, that's right. Tim was the only one who didn't seem happy. John was very impressed with his sister's Sherlock Holmes impression. He thought that it was great that his sister had started the ball rolling, that it was his sister, Lizzie, who had started the chain of events by going to see the security manager at the supermarket. Lizzie's sister, Doreen, also thought that it was great, and she congratulated Lizzie too. Alfredo didn't congratulate his daughter. His brain was still a bit of a mess. His brain was like scrambled eggs. He was very surprised that his daughter was playing detective, but I'm sure that he'll congratulate her later when his brain calms down. All right, but now back to Tim. Tim was the one who caused all of the confusion by freaking out and flopping about like SpongeBob in the tin food section of the supermarket. And then, when Alfredo asked why he didn't want to congratulate Lizzie, Lizzie said that she didn't think Tim even wanted to speak to her. And he didn't, did he? Tim's reaction was strange. It wasn't the same as the reaction that the others had, was it? Do you all remember what Tim said? Well, for one thing, Tim called Lizzie a do-gooder. And what's a do-gooder when it's at home? Well, look at the word. What do you think? Well, it's pretty simple, isn't it? We've got the idea of someone doing something good. So, logically, if someone does good, then that person is a do-gooder. Now, think about the way that Tim used the word when he said the word, when he called Lizzie a do-gooder. Was it positive or negative? Yes, it was negative, wasn't it? The way Tim said the word, we could hear, we could detect that it wasn't positive. And that's the strange thing, because even if the idea of doing good is a positive idea, a do-gooder isn't a positive idea. A do-gooder is someone who interferes in someone else's business. Normally, a do-gooder thinks that they're helping, but normally, the person that they're helping doesn't want them to help. So, even if the basic idea is a positive idea, if someone says that you're a do-gooder, then they're not being positive. If someone calls you a do-gooder, then they're saying that you're not helping. You think that you're helping, but in reality, you're not helping. And the person thinks you should mind your own business and not interfere. That's just what Tim said, isn't it? He said that Lizzie was meddling in other people's business. Okay. So first of all, Tim used a noun to describe Lizzie. He called her a do-gooder. But now he's using a verb to talk about what she did. And the verb he used was the verb to meddle. Okay. So what's the verb to meddle? Well, it's the same idea as what we've just heard about do-gooders. The verb to meddle means to interfere in something which is not your business. So, for example, lots of people in the EU say that sometimes the EU meddles in national affairs. The EU try to interfere in things which are national, not EU affairs. These days, we also hear about different countries meddling in each other's elections. The Americans meddle in Russian elections and the Russians meddle in American elections. They're doing the same thing. They're interfering. And Tim said that Lizzie was meddling. She was interfering in something which wasn't her business. She was poking her nose in where it wasn't wanted. That's something else that he said she was doing, poking her nose in. He also said that she was sticking her oar in where it wasn't wanted. Now, all of these are the same basic idea. If you are nosy, then it means you're interested in other people's business. And that's not very positive, is it? No. That's the sort of thing that leads to people interfering and meddling, and that's not very positive. And the same is true of sticking your oar in. That's when you tell people what you think, even if they're not interested. This is summed up perfectly by something I saw in one of my favorite cafes. There was a sign which asked a question. What's the difference between my coffee and your opinion? And the answer? I asked for my coffee. All right, people, we're out of time, so we'll have to catch up on why exactly Tim thinks his sister has been sticking her oar in, why he thinks that she's nosy, why he's of the opinion that Lizzie is a do-gooder, and what she did which makes Tim say that she was meddling in other people's business. Yes, it's time to go now, so we'll have to catch up with the Benchfields later. Now, don't forget, it's Friday, so get into the shower before you go out and scrub yourself until you're as shiny as a new penny. Well, something like that. You don't have to be shiny, but remember that when you go out, nobody will want to talk to you if you smell like a homeless dinosaur's armpit. All right, people, have a great evening and a fantastic weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. Have fun. See you later. Bye.